In the third quarter last night, the Golden State Warriors had on the floor Klay Thompson, Jonas Jerebko, Sean Livingston, Kevon Looney, and Jacob Evans. They swept the second-best team in the West, Portland. They haven't lost a road game since Kevin Durant got hurt and Boogie Cousins didn't play last night. And Iggy, an MVP in the finals a couple of years ago, didn't play, and Steph's at 90%. Listen, I've always said Michael Jordan's Bulls are the best, deepest team I've ever seen. Warriors, Showtime Lakers, probably second place. But these Warriors, you got to be kidding me. No KD, you keep telling me, best player in the game. No Boogie Cousins All-Star. No Andre Iguodala. And you sweep Portland? Could Michael Jordan's Bulls be missing Michael, Horace Grant, and Tony Kukoc and sweep those old Pacers or Knicks? You got to be kidding me. There's a great stat in this series. The Warriors trailed for more minutes, 101, than they led Portland, 83, and they swept them. Folks, they're just toying with people. I mean, that game last night's a great example. Stay close, stay close, stay close. Use the bench, stay close, stay close. All right, 3.5 left. Bing, bang, boom, hit it. Overtime win, game over. Thanks for flying United. They're toying with people. And there is this notion that free agency is going to change the world. But let's just talk about the West, since 80 to 85% of the best players in the NBA are currently in the West. Take out Giannis and Kawhi. Who do we know for sure? I mean, we don't even know if Kawhi is going to be in the East next year. We don't know where Kyrie is going to be next year. 80% of the best players, minimum, are in the West. 14 of the last 20 NBA titles, I think it'll be 15 out of 21, have been won by the Western Conference. So let's just talk about the West. Chris Paul's a shadow of himself. They have no salary cap flexibility. And frankly, P.J. Tucker, Chris Paul, they're old. Let's talk about Oklahoma City and Utah. Let's not. They don't have enough shooters. Let's talk about Portland. Good team. Like them a lot. Not championship level. Let's talk about the Lakers. Complete chaos. KD leaves to the East. It's not changing the West. It's not changing the West. And the West, like the SEC in college football, is where champions are made. I don't see anything changing. And next year, the one thing this sweep guarantees is that Draymond's going to get a max, and Klay's going to get a max, and Steph's going to get a max, and Steve Kerr's not going anywhere, and they've shown an ability to draft really well, and the young players have stepped up, and if KD leaves and goes to the East, Brooklyn, New York, whatevs, it's not changing the West. It's not changing the West, and that's where the stars are, that's where the champions are, and I'm watching that thing last night. They, by a long shot, trailed more minutes than they led and swept Portland. I went to Vegas, looked at the odds this morning. It's not close. The Golden State Warriors next year, and they have Kevin Durant leaving baked in, are a heavy favorite to win. What about the Clippers? What about them? They're the Clippers. They have never been consistently dominant in the NBA. When it happens, I'll acknowledge it. To this point, they haven't even been the Raptors, good but disappointing in the postseason. They've just been the Clippers, the second most popular team in one building in the NBA. I'm watching this thing last night. I'm not sure this isn't the best team we've ever seen. I don't think you could have taken Michael Jordan, Dennis Rodman, Horace Grant, Tony Kukoc, and they'd sweep a Knicks. Well, the NBA was way better than, oh, stop it. The New York Knicks ended up in the conference finals. They had 2 decent shooters on the roster. We've never had an NBA with this many good ball handlers and this many good shooters, with this much open space for artists to be artists. I don't want to hear about how great the NBA was. The Pacers, Knicks back then were shooting 70 free throws. Some of the all-time classic Knicks, Charles Oakley, the late Anthony Mason, couldn't shoot. I mean, this league is all about skill. And when you can lose the people they're losing and sweep Portland, well-run, well-coached, star and Damian Lillard, just a big wow. And let's shift to this. So yesterday, it was cats and dogs living together. The Lakers announced their new coach. Magic times it perfectly and makes sure on the day the Lakers hire a new coach, Magic's on another network, ESPN, ripping the Lakers. LeBron, in all of this, was in the back. Wasn't really talking. Looked like he was just working out. And Bill Plaschke wrote an article this morning. He said LeBron looked disengaged again. How hard would it have been for James to wander over to the media and give a quick quote or two to support the new guy who clearly needs it? Vogel said he talked with LeBron. It was all positive, but LeBron's body language told an indifferent story, one he could easily could have, refuted if bothered to invest 1 ounce of emotional energy in the team. Now, I have been very critical of LeBron this year for being disengaged. Let me pivot here and support LeBron and what he did yesterday. Could I make an argument LeBron was hiding to protect his brand, and I don't blame him? It was strategic. Where does he win if he talks? He's distancing himself from the worst-run iconic brand in all 50 states. Listen, Magic gets to walk away from this mess. LeBron is trapped in this mess. And I banged on him all year for being aloof and not engaged. This morning, he's better off standing in the back and watching the festivities. LeBron has been in this NBA for 16 years. All but 4 of it, he's dealt with ownership issues, coaching issues, roster issues, chaos, disharmony. Miami was the exception. Great owner, Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra, and LeBron, and I get it, chose to leave. In hindsight, not the greatest move. But for 12 of LeBron's 16 years, he's dealt with, and again, take Miami out of it, he's dealt with moody stars, often injured Kyrie LeVon stars, Kevin Love, Kyrie were hurt. He's dealt with guys who don't step up like J.R. Smith in big moments. He's dealt with head cases. He's battled owners. There have been GMs fired. And now look where he's at. It's almost fitting that LeBron's career could end like it started. Mayhem. Didn't work this way for Dr. J or Michael Jordan or Magic or Dirk or Bird or Shaq or Steph or KD or Duncan or now James Harden. Good ownership, smart coaches, nice rosters. I mean, let's be honest about this. LeBron's career appears to be ending the way it started. He's carrying an utter mess. Isiah Thomas on First Things First yesterday had some thoughts on it.
This is where I think the NBA and our league has truly failed LeBron James. Because every place LeBron James has gone, they've always given him either a first-year coach or someone that they were experimenting with, and they always took unnecessary chances because you had LeBron James. LeBron James has never had the benefit of, in my opinion, Hall of Fame coaches. He had a Hall of Fame front office with Pat Riley in Miami. However, they gave him a rookie coach.
I mean, everybody else had more. I remember Dr. J. Good coach, good front office, good roster. Magic inherited Kareem. Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish. Dirk had a good owner. Rick Carlisle, top coach. I mean, you start looking about the stars. Look what Steph walked into. KD, I mean, let's be honest. Sam Presti, Westbrook, Harden wasn't terrible. Now he's with the Warriors. You start looking at the top 15 players of all time. One started with a mess, had to leave, felt guilty, went back to his hometown and won, moved to Los Angeles. When that started to deteriorate, Kyrie leaves him. And I don't blame him for standing in the back, not commenting, disengaging, protecting his brand. I'm not saying a thing. And I've been critical of him in the last 6 months. But if I was LeBron, I'd look at this mess and think, I'm going to keep my distance because they have pulled the cape off Superman. And he has more than done his fair share in his career. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.